guys. Got a little bit of a change of plans from the last video. We had the footings all dug and rebar was in place, and we were gonna pour the footing and the walls all at one pour. But right after I shot that video, we got a bunch of rain and kind of put us behind schedule. And then we started setting some forms up. I didn't get video of it because I was doing it after work and I forgot my camera. But we had a storm roll through that dumped about 2 inches of rain in one afternoon on us. And that flooded our trench, blew all my tarps. A lot of them blew off, and the amount of rain, they just went down into the trench. And then we got all that cleaned up. It was bad, but it was savable. And then about 2 days later, we were out here drying everything out, and the forecast was clear. And then all of a sudden, at the last minute, they changed the forecast, so I didn't have anything covered up. And we got about 2.5 inches of rain in about the span of an hour and a half. If you don't know, that just within them 2 storms, that was at least a month's worth of rain for us, all in a period of about 3 to 4 hours combined. So that flooded my trench. I mean, it filled it all the way to the top, almost full of water. I said it wasn't covered because there was no call for rain at all, and we ended up getting this big storm. So it ruined a lot of my trench walls. It washed a lot of dirt into the trench. So all the rebar I had at the bottom was completely, once we got all the water pumped out of it, was completely covered with mud and silt that washed in. So it was quite a mess. We run through a few different scenarios of how we were gonna fix it because the walls were starting to cave in. One was we get a trench compactor out here, which is just a baby sheep's foot roller. We were gonna fill the trench all the way back in, compact it. We'd have to dig it wider, compact about a 5-foot area all the way up and re-dig it, but just dig it a hair deeper than we were before. That way it was still on virgin ground. And then if we compacted our sides, the sides should have held properly. I didn't really want to go that route just because of the time and money involved. We went ahead. We had to pull all the rebar out of it that we had in for the footing, and we had a lot of the wall rebar set actually too. We had more than half of the wall rebar set. We had to pull all that out, pull our footing rebar out. I had to get the excavator back in here and dig all that silt out, and we had to dig about 4 inches deeper to get to dry and what I'd call decent virgin ground. Everything else was just mud. If you can see off there in the distance, that dirt pile way over there in front of that truck, that's all the dirt I had to dig back out of this footing. So we went ahead, got everything recompacted. We had to grade a few areas back out, and rather than waiting, I wanted to do it all in one pour. We just went ahead and poured this wall. So that's where we kind of left off. I got some video here. We're gonna take off with the video of us pouring that footing. That turned into kind of a hassle too. I was doing it after work. Actually, I took off early. I was supposed to have a 2:45 is when concrete was supposed to be here. They were over an hour late, and it was getting, you know, a chance of rain popped up again on the weather app. So by the time I had the camera going, I wanted to show more video close up, but they being an hour late and us being rushing to get before the weather come in, I didn't get as much video as I was hoping. We pretty much just got an overview. Really didn't get to hold the camera and show you what we were doing. So we're gonna go ahead and you can watch that video. We'll take off from there, and I'll bring you back after that. Okay, as you see how we had that all poured, it was fairly easy. We just painted lines down on the ground. We had to put all that footing rebar back in, and our footing per code's got to be 16 inches wide by 8 inches deep. It's got to have 2 horizontal number 4, which is a 1/2 inch rebar vertical throughout the trench. So you saw that in the last video. It was the same detail. We just pulled that rebar out, dug it all back down, and put that rebar back in. You just saw the video of us pouring it, and this is the next day. We didn't get near as rain. It was supposed to storm all day, and it all dissipated before it got to us. But that's how we left it yesterday, or I should say last night. I used 4x8 sheets of foam and covered the trench. Over here you can see all these 2x4s. This is where we had our forms set before we got that massive rain, so we had to pull all them forms off. I left all the braces there for it. You can see here all our concrete in our trench. We got number 4 vertical rebars every 3 foot. They're going to come up into our stem wall. Like I said, a lot of our trenches, you can see here where the trench walls started siding, that was from that big rain. Where it was really bad is still covered up. I'll try to get a shot of that yet, but probably a good 2 to 3 foot section. Where my braces were, it completely took all the way back to the rear of the brace. Is how much dirt washed off there in 3 spots. So what we're going to do to kind of remedy the trench walls, so being concrete is so expensive right now, and the fuel surcharges, the first option is just fill it all the way full of concrete. I said we're going to fill this trench. I mean, we can go to an 8-inch wall here now, since my footing is 16 inches wide. And then above, we were going to fill this trench all the way with concrete. And then you see where my braces are, we'll have a 2x10, 7 inches wide. That'll be my wall coming up, which will be my top of floor height. And then we continue with our framed wall on top of that. That'll start making a little more sense when we start setting these forms back up. But since our trench walls have gotten so much wider than initially they were dug, that's what I've got all this 2-inch foam for. It was cheaper to buy the foam than concrete right now, so I'm ripping 2-foot sections of foam, and we're just going to foam both sides of this just to take up some room and save us on concrete. It'll save us, just putting the 2 inches of foam on both sides saves us roughly about $1,300 in concrete, and the foam was about $800. So all in all, we're saving about $400 to $500. It's actually better because I am having a heated floor in here with 2-inch foam on the floor. That way the foam will go all the way down to the footing, and it'll insulate that wall just much better. So it's not a complete waste of money on this. It is saving a lot of concrete, so we're going to give that a try. It was that or filling it back in. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to try it out here. I've got an idea in my head. We're going to see if it works. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get a couple of these forms set up. My wife will be out here in a little bit. She's going to give me a hand. So I'm just getting everything set. We got to tie a few rebars in here yet, and we're going to go ahead and start setting the form. So once we're ready on that, I'll bring you guys back.